We're back at Octane Garage. We have our 200S here. If you saw our last video, we cleaned the carb, but the next day, I broke the pull cord.
So what we're going to do today, guys, and we've already kind of started, we're going to pull this off, and we're going to show you how to fix it. Okay, guys, so we're starting on the opposite side of the three-wheeler. And what you got to do is you take this screw off. We've already done it. We're just kind of showing you here. This is your compression release. You're going to slide the cable out there. And you're going to just slide it through the other side. Alright, there's a little C-clip on here. I've already taken it off. And then you can just slide this little neutral. Just an indicator is all it is. Going to slide that off. A lot of them are missing. But this one still has it. So, okay, we got one bolt left. Get that out of our way here. We'll show you what's under here. If anyone owns a 200S, you've probably done this before. We'll just pop it off like this. And we should be able to leave the kickstarter right on there. Okay, so this is our pull start. We got 4 screws on top here. Just gonna get these out real quick. And then we'll show you guys what's down in here. It's not a lot to them, but they can be a little bit of a pain with that compression release stuff. So we got these out. Just pop this off like so. And then this is our compression release. We can pull this up. There's a little spring right in here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right in there. And it can be a little tricky when you're putting the thing back together. Basically, just slide it out like this. And then, this is for your cable.
Fellas,
oh, you can stop it. So basically what you have, we've got to get this thing off. This is for your compression release. And there's a little thing, you guys can't see it. It's right, it fell down in here. Let me see if I can drop it out of here. Let's get this cable out of our way. This little guy right here. And we'll talk about that later. We'll show you that later. Here's our spring. I'm going to set that aside. And we got a little C-clip here we got to get out. Which can be a little tricky. I usually just take a screwdriver. Give them a little pry. Sometimes it works. Sometimes they fight you. And there it goes. And then you want to be careful because this baby's spring loaded. Okay, so we got our C-clip off. We're pulling this off. Oops, that stays on there. Where'd my little C-clip go? Oh, it's right here. So let's keep our stuff together. Okay. These things are the things that cut your compression release. So you want to keep track of those. They're just little cams, as I like to call them. And then what we got to do, get that spring out of the way. You got to try and pull this thing up. There's a spring down in there. Now if we can leave it sitting just like that, that spring's still wound. You don't want to let that thing come flying out if you can help it. Yep. Alright, we're going to pull these guys out. Set them aside. Because we don't want to lose them. They're fairly simple. Just pop them out like that. Dump your little cams out. Like that. I like to set it all together. Then you can see our rope. That's where it broke. Broke right there. So what we got to do is we got to fish that sucker out of there. Good. Okay, so we're feeding it through here first because you can't undo this type of cord we have. The stock ones you can. This one you can't. So I have to feed it through here. Then we're going to feed it through here. Like so. And we're going to grab our needle nose. Reach down in here and get a hold of it. And we're doing this carefully because we don't want to mess our spring up in there that we talked about earlier. I'm going to pull it through like this. I'm going to give it a little knot. Try to keep it at the end as much as we can, at least. Get as much pull cord as we can. You want to make sure you pull this knot tight, because you don't want it to come undone, for obvious reasons. Or you'll be doing all this again. We don't want to do that. So, got it pulled tight. Slide it right down in there, like so. Okay, we're going to put our compression release cams back in. They're just sitting there like so. Pretty simple stuff, really. Then we put our little springs back on. And they just go, one goes into the other. Just like so. Not too tough. Nothing real hard about this, guys. This is something you could easily do yourself if you're careful. And you just slide this one on the last one. That part's done. Now we are pulling our cord through here. Gotta drop this back on here. It's fairly simple. And you actually want to leave just a little bit of this out like this. And you'll see why later. But for now, we're going to drop it back on here, like so. And we got our spring. It's got to go back on. Got our washer. These washers have a cut in them. You can tell, if you can see that flat spot there, that flat spot has to go on the flat spot of this shaft. It's a certain spot where it has to go. Right there. Now, next step, you got to get this in the center on your spring. You got to push it down, all the way down. You got to make sure your cutouts are lined up with your little cams. Then you're going to grab your washer here. I'm going to slide on. Remember, it's got a cutout also, so it only slides on there one way. Once you get that on, you're going to grab your little C-clip thingy here. You got to slide it on, and it can be tricky. A little tricky. Sometimes you can take a pair of needle nose, get the edge of it, just clip it like that. There.
Good.
So if you don't have enough tension in your cord, what you can do is you can pull your cord out like this. They make a little cutout right here. You can see that little cutout. It's right there. You'll see how I slide the rope into that cutout. Then you're going to bring it around. If I can get it into the cutout. Just right. Right there. Now you're going to bring it. See how it's in that cutout? You can see it going around there. It's in the cutout. You're bringing it around. This is going to make it tighter. Believe it or not, they did that on purpose. So you're going to bring it all the way around so it goes back through. So it comes all the way back out the other end. Then, when you do that, if you watch, it makes your cord tighter. Gives you more tension. So you do that each time until you feel like you got enough tension on that. You just keep doing that. Works out pretty well, actually. It's a pretty interesting design. So I placed my spring in here. I left the top one out so I can catch it right in there. It's a little tricky to do. So you slide it in there just right. Oh, am I blocking the view?
No, you're good. Ooh, we're about to make it.
Get that right into there. Take you a little screwdriver or something. Make sure it's in that slot though, or things won't work out. Just like that. So you want to go ahead and tighten these all up. After you start them. I like to start them all and then tighten them, but go ahead and get them snugged up here. We gotta put this boot in first. Get our boot in there. That boot's gonna be a pain. It always is. Because it's already, ours is already getting a little rough. Take a little screwdriver and just kind of tuck it down in there. Very carefully because it's in bad shape, really. We need a new one. think that'll work. Now, you want to give it a pull. If you watch this end, give it a pull. Make sure that end pulls. See how it pulled right there? That means our compression release is working. If that does not pull, you did something wrong. And you're going to want to double check stuff. Alright, so I'm going to run our cable back through. I'm going to slide this on. And then we're going to put our bolts in. Alright, so we got all our bolts in. Make sure they're good and snug. You don't want to tighten them too much. These bolts break real easy. I think you could look the torque specs up. I would guess about 19 inch-pounds. That should be plenty right there, guys. All right, this has to flip up like this. You got your little metal spot here. And you want to get that metal right in there. And you're going to take this, get it spun around first, I guess. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you just put your metal spot right in there, flip it like that, and you can give it a good tightening. You don't want to get too carried away with it, but just snug it up, you know. That should be plenty. You don't want to go too tight there. You don't want to break that thing off either. Put your spark plug back on and you are good to ride, guys. You ready? We got it all back together. So we'll just give her a pull.